Hi, welcome to the Andrea Giovino Show. So before we start today, I really want to thank all my fans, all the audience, everyone that has subscribed. I try to get back to all of you. I try to respond to all the comments. I truly appreciate it. And I always thank God, thank you, Jesus, for putting me in this position and bringing out some really good, true life stories. And today, at your request, at many requests, people wanted to hear again from George Martorano. So we have George Martorano on.
Hey, happy to be here, Andrea. You know, I was on the West Coast, but do your show, I'm here. I mean, if you believe in something, you believe in someone, you have to meet he or she halfway. So I'm here for you halfway.
Good. So what Yet, like all the subscribers and fans were asking me, I mean, you know, people love you, you know, we get a lot of views, and I guess because you did so many years incarcerated, they really wanted to find out, did you ever witness or help anyone that, because you were in Marion, and that's like one of the worst penitentiaries, you would call it. Did you ever witness or help anyone that was going to be murdered or see a murder?
Well, real quickly, they just did a segment on 60 Minutes about the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and basically was directed to the women, low-level facilities, and they were abused, but they didn't go into the penitentiary settings. Right now, I can honestly say that the federal penitentiaries, which there's more than one, I think there's 10 or 12 or 15, are killing fields. They are killing fields right now. They're locked down for months and months of the year. But anyway, before we get around to talking about the violence, I lost count how many lives I've saved. I mean, a lot of us have 10 fingers and 10 toes, but I went way surpassed that. You know, in the course of the years, I got so respected in the federal system, any penitentiary, and my cell became what you call a sanctuary cell. In other words, if a guy was being hunted by a gang, he was marked for death. If he was in my cell, they couldn't come in and kill him.
Why is that? Because
you're disrespecting me, and you don't want to disrespect me because I knew everybody. I knew every gang. I knew everybody.
Let me ask you this. Is that knowing you, is that meaning the Italians, or is it,
no,
doesn't it necessarily have to be Italian?
I went past that. I created my own entity, my own web of protection through who I was and the years I've been in. But like I said, my cell was sanctuary. I'll give one scenario. I was at the place in Florida called Coleman. There's Coleman 1 penitentiary, and there's Coleman 2. Both bad joints. And I was in between classes, so I went in my cell, and I see a guy sitting there. I knew him, but I didn't know him. So first thing I told him, don't say a word. I have to shower. And then go on to my classes. After I did all that, I says, now, okay. He's sitting in my cell. So I know that he's marked for death. He's sitting in my cell because he don't want to be killed.
So he's coming to you for help.
Well, they can't kill him in my cell. They'll kill him outside my cell.
So if they kill him in your cell, it's disrespecting.
Oh, yeah. Now you know, then you have to go into my situation, which you don't want to do. Anyway, he's sitting there. I knew him, but I didn't know him. I said, if you lie to me, you're on your own. Do not tell me lie. Long story short, he owed a dope bill. He owed $800-900 dope bill. And he was getting this...
heroin?
No, he was getting this Suboxone back then. Now it's all fentanyl, but it's Suboxone they were getting in, and they either shoot it, snort it, smoke it, whatever. So he owed $800-900 dope bill to a bad.
Is it Suboxone?
Yeah, a bad gang. The shot caller of the gang was named Animal. So I got to tell you more.
God. Well, let me ask you this: how old was this guy?
He was a young 30s.
Okay, young guy.
But anyway, so I said, if you lie to me, you're on your own. Do not lie to me. So he tells me the truth. He owes this. So now I got to go into the yard and save his life because he can't leave my cell and get away from a gang. They have gang members in